Okay, Craig, what's about to happen?
He's got, just to describe for
Look
the
at his
people at
fucking
home,
grin.
Craig is sat on the arm of a sofa above both me and Liam with a backwards baseball cap, grinning manically. He's asked us to shut the doors and the windows. We have no fucking idea what's going on here. Brace yourself.
Gird your loins.
Here we go.
Have either of you ever heard of BandFic?
Oh, God. Is this fan fiction for bands?
Oh, my God, no!
I'm so excited.
Get the windows open!
Just to give you a hint of the website I've got this off, what is on the top of this page?
Hot, sexy, delicious gay rock. Is this all fucking...
Fuck it, I hope you cleared your internet history, mate. I really do.
The first story we'll tell you on this first episode of the yet-to-be-named /band fiction segment. So today we have a piece entitled Any Time at All about the Beatles.
Is this how Paul actually died? Choking on dick? Go, okay.
Right,
I'm so braced.
Are we ready?
Yeah.
I don't know how erect I can get, Craig.
Well, let's see from the very first line. Thump, thump, thump. George Harrison slammed his pillow over his face, trying to drown out the sound of banging from the other side of the hotel room wall, even though the material he was able to make out was an ooh and an ah coming from the next room. Didn't Paul...
We are fucking 5, aren't we?
Didn't Paul and John ever give it a rest? He couldn't help but think. Christ, don't they ever get tired? The voice of his roommate, whom he thought was blissfully asleep, rang through the room. George chuckled and pulled the pillow from his face. Thanks, Ring.
Ring.
Some serious fucking editing.
I thought I was suffering alone here. Nah, it sounds like Paul's doing a bit of suffering too. Ringo Starr joked as a wail was heard from the other side of the wall. You think they ever remember our rooms always next door to each other? Nah, that would take brain power, something they seem to lack whenever they're together. A few more thumps were heard against the wall, and Ringo groaned, and it wouldn't be so bad if they weren't so damn frustrating, you know? What do you mean? I mean, even when there aren't any birds around, they've still got each other, day in, day out. It makes me kind of jealous, you know.
I wonder where this could be going.
No, go on!
Oh, Ringo's gonna get it. Hot beef injection.
George sat up in his bed and looked across the dark room to where his friend lay. One of the things he'd always appreciated...
No. Okay. So, we started this thing 3 years ago. There was no point in the planning or possible kind of futures of this where I figured we'd be reading gay, erotic Beatles fan fiction. Can we just fucking recognise this moment?
Out of the bottle, mate. The genie's out of the bottle.
Oh my god.
Where was I?
About up to the wrist, I think.
As a matter of fact, I've just been fisting Norman Lamont.
George sat up in his bed and looked across the dark room to where his friend lay. One of the things he always appreciated about Ringo was his sense of humour. But sometimes, when they were alone, the other man would let his more serious side take over, much as it was now. I know, Ring. You think maybe if we told them we know about what they do, when they think we haven't got a clue, that they'd try and cut it down?
Do me a favour, Craig. I have the title for this.
Right.
Ringo wasn't even the best bummer in the Beatles.
Nah, John's too much of an exhibitionist to let that stop him. And even then, they would still act the same way around each other, giggling as if they managed to keep a secret from us. Well, I'll always be here for you, man, you know that. Ringo rose up on his elbows and looked over at his friend for the first time. Thanks. You know the same goes for you, eh, George? always ring. Now try and get some sleep.
Try and get some sleep. Slap it down.
George lay down and pulled the blanket over his shoulder. He rolled onto his side, trying to empty his mind in an effort to encourage sleep. A soft moan drifted through the wall, causing him to groan slightly in both complaint and frustration. He nearly jumped when he felt a hand on his shoulder.
It's Jeff Lynne, ladies and gentlemen.
He looked behind him to see a vulnerable look in Ringo's eyes, which were but a centimetre away from his own.
Right, hang on. Right, no. He looked behind him to look at a vulnerable Ringo's eyes that were a centimetre. How long's your nose? How long is everybody's nose? My nose, I've got a small nose, but it's more than a centimetre. So Ringo has placed his face.
I'm just wondering if he's got, like, owl neck, where he can just do a full rotation.
No, but they'll be in single beds. It's the 60s, yeah, you know, like...
George, I don't want to sleep alone tonight.
This is taking place in somewhere like Hull as well, isn't it?
George nodded and moved over in the bed, lifting the blanket so that Ringo could get in next to him. To his surprise, his friend wrapped an arm around his waist in a tight hug. He smoothed the hair back from Ringo's face.
From his back. That's what I was saying.
As it was tucked into his chest. It couldn't have surprised him that the loneliness of being on tour was getting to his friend. People often thought that their lives were easy, and that loneliness was impossible in the company of so many girls clamouring for their attention. Only 4 of them truly understood what it was to be a Beatle. The fame and loneliness alike. Both men's heads lifted as an "Oh baby" was shouted from the next room. Their eyes lowered slowly and met. All of a sudden, George felt much more aware of Ringo's body lying next to his own. He shifted unconsciously, his hips accidentally brushing against that of his friend. They, having quite a time over there, aren't they? They remained still for several moments before Ringo slowly moved forward to press his lips against his friend's. George's eyes widened in shock at the pleasant sensation, and his lips felt strangely bereft when Ringo finally pulled away. What are you doing? Playing Scrabble.
What I like is that writers this thinking, I need to inject some form of humour, some Ringo Starr humour.
Both men burst into nervous laughter, cut short when Ringo moved in to capture George's lips. Their arms unconsciously tightened around each other as their hungry lips moved over each other. Please, George, Ringo whispered as they broke apart for breath. Be with me, just for tonight.
Oh my gosh.
George was afraid, not of what he knew they were about to do, but afraid one night wouldn't be enough. For himself, at least. However, he could see the same concern in his friend's eyes and decided that whatever happened, they would get through it. George's hand moved to cup Ringo's face, gently pulling their lips together as he rolled over his friend's body. Frantic hands reached for his pyjama top.
Pajamas?
Of course!
So rock
it's
and
cold
roll.
in Hull!
And began undoing the buttons as his own hands slipped down Ringo's neck and onto the collar of his own nightclothes. Everything but the feel of each other and the harshness of each other's breathing was drowned out of their senses as they finally rid each other of all obstructive clothing. Naked skin fit against naked skin.
I don't know about you, but obstructive clothing is one of the sexiest phrases I've ever heard.
Hands exploring and memorising every sensation as their cocks pressed together tight.
Cocks! There it is!
Both men began moving to a nameless tune, and they moaned as they were carried closer and closer to the edge.
Who do you reckon's the bottom?
Well, by the sounds of it, it's going to be George, whether he likes it or not.
Not Ring?
No.
New paragraph. Oh, that was so good. Macca, you've got a gift for understatement, you bastard. Pass me that fag over there, will you? The cigarette was passed and lit up. John Lennon took a deep drag before continuing. So, we done for tonight? Oh yeah, I think that's more than enough for one night. Paul McCartney rose from the bed, picking up a pen and paper that was laying on his lap. What are we going to call this one anyway?
Please let this be a comic send-off. Yellow Submarine.
I don't know. Let's sing it over in the morning and see if the title comes to us.
Maxwell Silver Armour.
I've got it! I've got it! It's come together, innit? It's got to come together.
Far more thought than the offer
right.
actually did. And too beat to think anymore. Well, maybe it has something to do with the way you keep jumping around in bed whenever you get an idea for a lyric or a chord change.
So it's his fault.
You keep that up, and George and Ringo are going to start thinking things. Let them think what they like. I'm going to sleep. Night, Macca.
Oh, so they weren't having sex?
No, they were writing a song and Paul was just getting excited.
Who'd have thunk? We all...
So they got peer pressured
Yeah. We all jumped
into
to the
hot
conclusion.
homo love.
Yeah.
We all jumped to the conclusion. What I love is the two other Beatles thought they're fucking each other. That was the first thought.
What a great switcheroo.
Yeah.
Well done,
Didn't see
Arthur.
that one. Yeah.
Both men settled into their own beds and turned out the light. After a few moments, a low moan was heard from the other room. Paul sighed. About fucking time they start writing their own damn songs. The end.
That's genius.
Oh, well, I don't know what to say apart from charge your glasses, and thank you very much to Craig for that one. If you're listening to this on your early morning commute, then God, you're going to have that for the rest of the day, guys.